Testing, testing, okay. Yep, and here I am, Saturday night. Yep, I'll give it a minute here. See if anybody comes aboard, and then I'm going to start talking. Anyhow, with that being said, hello, Jeff. Yeah, I figured I'd jump on up here, talk a little bit about the dating scene topics, talk a little bit about the fraudulent MGTOWers, the so-called monks that are as fraudulent as the majority of MGTOWers, the manosphere, the division on the manosphere side, and the people that are possible plants, the people that want to take and smear the message and push the mainstream narrative, the propaganda, to keep the division alive. It's sort of like Gillette. What did Gillette do? Gillette male shamed males and promoted racism. That's right. Putting the white men as trash, not wanted, and the black men as, yes, deliberately done. It was a campaign, it was a purposely done commercial, advertisement to male shame and to stir up racism, to stir up division. So we male shame, keep the division amongst the genders alive and healthy, and stir up the racism between the blacks and whites. That's really what that was about. That was a globalist agenda. It was no accident. Okay, they caught a lot of heat for it because more people are aware of what they were doing. And there was an outcry about it, which there should have been. But you're not going to hear any apologies because it was no accident. It was deliberately done. So, and people need to have the ability to start looking for root causes. I was talking with Steve Hoka, and we were talking just about that. People not looking for root causes, and all these people up in line parroting what's already been said for the last 10 years, 12 years, not longer, when it comes to the genders. Well, it's just like MRA. MRA went on this bill, okay, of showing symptom after symptom after symptom. Not that the symptoms that wasn't showing isn't true, because it is true. 365 days a year, you can turn on your television set and find male shaming, male shaming, male shaming, male shaming. Okay? And the double standards, which is corruption, putting one gender above another, one gender above another, angering one gender. And that's sort of what, you know, your razor commercial did, Gillette. They male shamed and directed it at white men only, putting white men down and black men up on a pedestal. That's no accident. That's deliberate. Social engineering, programming to keep us divided, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. That's really all that's about. And hello, Dave. I appreciate you being here. Yes, that Gillette commercial was disgusting, but it was no accident. It was by far from an accident, and because people don't look for causes to problems and they keep going with symptoms, they stay asleep. They stay asleep at the wheel to what's really going on. And that's what we see happening all the time. And then I did a video earlier today on, the turd man over there. That's right. Turd flinging monkey. And all you got to do is remove the monkey and think about monk and read it backwards. It's deliberately done. It's a mockery. It's mocking men. And I showed you clearly how he's taken the problems and how he's making categories and labeling people into these categories and putting people in categories. That's deliberately done. That's pushing mainstream narrative. That's what that's doing. And it's helping the powers to be, because later on in life, they're going to be able to use their fraudulent events of the Elliot Rogers, who was an actor, the incel man over in Canada, and they're going to use things like this, okay, and they're going to have their categories all labeled out for the manosphere. And they're going to push mental health laws. Of course, they always build these things up over time. They don't do it overnight. Nothing's ever done overnight. TFL is a symptom of social engineering. And there's many factors that go into TFL, that cause TFL, that brought the epidemic onto men to begin with. Okay, and you have to truly understand where these problems lie, where they come from. You have to look for the causes. Now, I'm going to suggest for people who don't totally understand what I'm saying or would like to do some research or know something, kick back, take your time, but you can look on my channel. I've liked it, favorited it. It's a recent interview with Mark Passio. Mark Passio's making a comeback. And this is a man that I would suggest you listen to. He's not going to BS you. He's going to tell you a whole lot of truth in your face. And he's also going to talk about the manosphere and the war on women and men and how it was socially engineered. He sure is. What I've been telling you the entire time. See, you know, Steve Hoka would be a lousy technician for fixing air conditioning and furnaces if he did what we see online. Symptom after symptom after symptom after symptom after symptom after symptom for year after year after year after year, and nobody wanting to talk about the cause. Nobody wanting to acknowledge the cause. You cannot fix a problem. I don't care if it's in society. I don't care if it's on an automobile. I don't care if it's a furnace or an air conditioner. If it's your plumbing in your home, without finding the cause. You must find the cause to fix the problem. End of story. Okay, and you know, when I labeled it out and showed you, okay, how turd flinging monkey, the name he gave, when you reverse it, you take off the monkey part and just use monk. Who else do you know that's using the word monk? Men going their own way. Monk stands for man. Do you see the mockery in here? And if you read it backwards, it would be monk, which is a man, flinging around, okay? And the turd would stand for BS. That's right, bullshit. Propaganda, lie. His name tells you who he is. And this is something people need to understand. This man has literally told you who he is through the name that he's using. Okay? And that's exactly what he's doing. And when you pay attention to the reply I done to his own work, he's got professional quality videos. He sure does. He's well spoken. He's using high skilled, educated level wording. Yes. This screams in red flags military, intelligence, shield, plant, agent. That's what this screams. Okay? And for him to put us in categories and changed the definition of TFL to a category that suits the powers to be, that suits mainstream media, even if it isn't true at all. Because see, TFL's never been about a bunch of men crying because they can't get laid. But you heard him. That's the category he's putting you in if you say you're a TFLer. But the majority of true TFLers isn't about sex. It's about getting that companionship, that lifelong mate, that best friend of the opposite gender, the companion. Sure, sex is going to be there, but that's last on the list, not first on the list. Not the only thing they're worried about, not what their major complaint is about at all. But you see how he skewed that? You see how he manipulated that to mainstream media's want, to the elites' want, to the powers to be's want? That's what he done. That's because this guy is most likely an agent or military intelligence. But regardless of what, he's made a mockery of people because all of his so-called followers, and I was reading through the comment list under that video he posted up, and there was a whole lot of comments there from the sheep, from the people that are following mainstream narrative, for the people that are unawake to reality, for the people who believe in symptoms and going along with the all hive mind, the brain in the jar, social engineering. That's really where that comes from. You know, and I told you my goal for 2019 is to try to bring the manosphere together. I've also told you it probably won't happen. Did I not? Yes, I did. Because I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to steer you down the rabbit hole. And I can only tell you this. You have to pay attention to the people you're watching. You really do. You need to pay attention to the wording they use. You need to practice using your life experiences. And you know, it's hard for young men because young men don't have the life experience that like myself has, or like Steve Hoka has, or like Dave has, who's in this chat. See, and I'm not putting you down because you're in your 20s, or you're 19 or 18 or in your 20s. I'm not putting you down. I'm only telling you that life is like a big school, and the longer you live and the more you're out in public and the more you do, the more experience you will gain from living your life. And with life experience, as you get older, you learn to read body language, and you become pretty good at it too. Once you learn to read body language really well, and you get enough life experience behind you, you'll start, if you're real about yourself and pay attention to what's going on around you, you will start seeing through bullshit as it's being fed. You'll be able to read somebody's body language and know what they're up to before they actually know you know. And so it really comes down to life experiences and living life. And the sad thing is when you get people like Turd Flinging Monkey, who's coming up here playing on the young guys with no life experience, who are 20 or 22 or whatever, or 24 going on 50 or going on 40. It's like the 14-year-old that's going on 40. They know everything, and they don't. They've convinced themselves they do, but they don't. See, you learn more the longer you live. The more experiences you have from living your life and being out in public and seeing and living, the more you will learn. So don't think I'm putting anybody down, because I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. And I become frustrated when I see people like this because they're playing on the young men that lack life experience, who will fall for the lie, who they will use their sophisticated wording with to convince you of something that's not true. And then you will believe it's true with all of yourself, and you will go right down that rabbit hole. And for TFLers, you all know, I've said this for years, the TFL was never about getting laid. Never has been. TFLers' biggest complaint is the fact they can't get a mate in their life at all. For the life of them. And they only want one good woman that would like them for who they are, that they could like for who she is, and they could have a partner. Somebody that would love them and they could love in return. And have a life with. That's all they want. That's the biggest complaint of TFLers. But of course, old turd flinging monkey, he labeled you right there in with the incels and that we're just the ones crying that we can't get laid. He put you in a category, a false category, something that's not true, propaganda. Okay? And that's what he flings. That's why he said, you got to read his name that he's given himself in reverse to understand that the guy's making a mockery out of men. And it's no accident. It's deliberate. Now, I invited him to do a live stream with me. If you go under that video, on his channel, you'll see my comments. You'll also see within 20 minutes of the time that I invited him, he answered me. And what he said was, if I want to talk to him, that I need to come on his show. So then I left him a comment back and said, okay, so what days and times do you air your show and what's the call-in number? He never answered. Nope, he never answered. Okay, but I already know he's fraudulent. I already know he's an agent. I already know he's either an agent, a shill, most likely I suspect military, intelligence, and he's being paid to do what he does. So even if I went on, it ain't like he wouldn't know who I am. Oh yeah, you can bet your bottom line he knows exactly who I am. Okay? He don't really want me on his show because I'm real. I'm not fake. And I would call him out. And he wouldn't want me on his show for that reason. I don't think I would last on his show if I went on his show. If he answered to me on the show, I don't think I would last on the show before he would throw me off the show, disconnect me from the show, because he wouldn't be able to handle real. He wouldn't be able to handle the real truth. And if he's, as I suspect he is, he would just try to make a mockery of me. He would do what mainstream media does to people that come on and try to tell the truth. He would try to play the devil's advocate to keep his audience confused and docile. And I won't play into that game. I would call him on every damn low-life tactic he tried. And I wouldn't care how intelligent he tried to talk. But of course, I wouldn't last neither, would I? Before he'd have to disconnect me from his show. So that's why I go with that one. I'm going to be looking through more MGTOWers. I was looking through Men Going Their Own Way videos last night, looking for my next candidate when I ran into this from Turd Fling and Monkey. And I had to call that one out. So I got derailed for a little bit to call that one out, but that had to be called out. I wasn't going to let that stand. So that's why I go with this one. So that's why I did what I did. That's why you see that video up on my channel. Because it needed to be called out for what it is. This guy's not to be trusted. And this is what I would tell to any man in the manosphere. You cannot trust this guy. He's already made a category for you. He's already labeled you into a category that suits mainstream media. That fits in for the future red flag laws against the manosphere. To call you dangerous to society. To furtherly put you down. And so you really need to pay attention. If you think the male shaming on your television set's an accident, it's never been an accident. It's all NWO related. It's all divide and conquer. It sure is. That's what it is. And what we're witnessing going on is the destruction of our own society. And even if you're not in the United States and you're living this, it's because they're destroying the societies throughout the world. That's what NWO is all about. It's run by a bunch of psychopaths. We've allowed a bunch of psychopaths to run us. And only we, the people, can stop these psychopaths. But we cannot do it by falling into their programming. We cannot do it by acting like them. And this is one of the reasons I'm against people who have high ego. Because when they run on ego, they become no better than the people they speak against. Matter of fact, they'll start acting like the people they're speaking against. Because ego's the same thing as power and greed. It absolutely corrupts their thinking. You know, and so I told Steve Hoka, I says the best cure for people that are living TFL or incel for young men, to understand what's going on, to know why they're experiencing the problems they are, is they have to back up and they have to start looking for the cause, not the symptom. You have to ignore the symptoms at this point. The symptoms everybody already knows. We have been showing this stuff for year after year after year after year. You cannot turn on your TV set without seeing it in your face. So why are you repeating what everybody already knows? See, they don't want you looking for the cause. Why do you think Turd Flinging Monkey gave a new definition to men going their own way? I showed you that in the video reply I made. Why do you think he's given it a new definition? It don't have a new definition. It's exactly what it says. MGTOW is men going their own way, walking away from their opposite gender. That's exactly what MGTOW is. But you see the definition he gave it. And you see how he tried to say it don't go in the category of incel and TFL. Oh, yes, it does. It don't go into the category of men's right activists. Yes, it does. The person who made the name MGTOW was a men's right activist, Barbarossa. He was part of the manosphere, the men's right activists. He sure was. But you see how they're flipping it and they're lying to you? And if you pay attention to the way the man speaks, you pay attention to the quality and professionalism of the videos, he's not the only one doing this. He's working with other people. Most likely it's military. Everything is scripted to a T. To what they're being told to do, what they want to push for the mainstream. So now the real definition of TFL has been skewed to men who are whining they can't get laid. It's never been that, not even from day one. And I don't care what anybody tells me. I'm the one that gave you your damn name. I'm the one that put a name to it to begin with. Where do you think true forced loneliness came from? I didn't create it, I just gave it a name. I described the symptoms of what men were living and put a name to it. They didn't like that. Now they're taking that and trying to skew what I've always said. Flip my words upside down. Create what they want it to be rather than what it really is. That's what you're seeing going on. And so you've got to really start backing up people, and you got to pay attention to what's going on around you. And you got to get off this kick of parroting the same stuff that's been said for year after year after year after year. And some of these guys that come up here are brand new to the internet. Or they've only been here a year or two. And they act like they're the only ones that's talked about this stuff, and they believe they're the ones exposing it, not realizing that 100 guys or 1,000 guys before them already said the same thing over and over and over and over again. That they're only parroting what's already been said. They're not feeding new information to nobody. Okay? All they're doing is regurgitating. And we got to get out of the regurgitation mode. And we got to come into reality. And you need to think about it like if you were going to fix your car, or if you were going to fix a plumbing leak, or if you were going to fix an air conditioner or a furnace. You need to think about it in the reality that you have to start looking for the cause. The cause. And when you start looking for the cause, you're going to find out everything I've been telling you is the truth. And for people who are not researched on this, well, how do I research it? And they're cleaning and scrubbing more and more off the net. That's why I tell you to go look up Mark Passio's old stuff and pay attention to what the man is saying. And since Mark Passio's making a comeback, and he really is, and since he's going to be speaking again, I would encourage you to listen to Mark Passio. And I would encourage you to just pay attention to what he's saying. This will give you a starting point if you want to look into this stuff for yourself. But I would encourage you to look for yourself, because the only way you're going to knowledge yourself enough to be able to see through BS when it's being fed to you is by schooling your own self. You're not going to get it from no college. You're not going to get it from no school system. And you're not going to get it off your television set. And you're not going to just get it off any old website or off of YouTube. You're going to have to start looking for yourself and use common sense. Use your brains. And when I tell people start recognizing right from wrong and practice doing unto somebody else that you would want done unto yourself, I'm dead serious about that. Because that's what we have to do. If we're ever going to change anything in this world for the better for all of us, because this isn't about me, this is about all of us. And this isn't me giving you a pity trip. This is me telling you that if you want to be happy, you have to first make yourself happy. If you're lying to yourself, you need to stop lying to yourself. You need to be honest with yourself. And that is a must. You must be honest with yourself. And then you must recognize right from wrong. In anything that you don't like somebody doing unto you, you need to remember never to do that unto somebody else. These are the tools that we have to move into if we're ever going to change anything in society. And I don't care if you're in Canada. I don't care if you're in Ukraine. I don't care if you're in the United Kingdom. I don't care where in the world you're at. You have to do this for yourself, because this is not about me. This is about all of us as a collective. We all recognize the problems that's going on. And if it's being a man, don't it bother you that you can't even turn on a TV without being put down with all the male shaming? Come on, be honest with yourself. Doesn't that bother you? It should. It's not right. It's wrong. And it's deliberately done. What do you think that does to little girls? The little kids, the little girls that are growing up seeing this, it swells their heads. And they get a perception of something that's not true. And because we're placing them above ourselves, they grow up with entitlement issues. They grow up and wind up becoming narcissists. Because we created them that way. Through social engineering. Do you see? It's actually abuse to all of us. See, we're all victims of this. It's just one gender is being propped above the other to cause anger. And that anger will keep us fighting one another. Because when you prop the one gender above the other, then the other gender acts out on the social engineering. They anger the opposite gender. Now their opposite gender's mad at them, disgusted with them, and their behavior. But see, this is why you got to look for the root cause. Because then you'll see why the female acts the way she does. Why the men are acting the way they're acting. And men are really bad because they play into this programming and they place another human being above themselves. Or for the validation so they can put their dick where? And that's all that's about. And that's not reality, people. That's destroying your society. It's destroying family units. It's destroying children's lives. It's destroying your life. It's destroying her life. It's breaking up our society. It's destroying us. We're headed into self-destruction is where we're headed. Which is complete stupidity. We don't have to be there. We do not have to allow this. We have to grow a pair. And we have to start using the brain that's in your head and ditch the programming. And the best way I can tell you to do that is recognize right from wrong. Live by what's right for yourself. Don't lie to yourself or convince yourself of a lie. Don't worry about if somebody else agrees with you. Don't worry about fitting in with a group of people that are clearly doing wrong. Don't care about fitting in with anybody. Recognize right from wrong. Don't care about what others think about you. It's all part of toughening yourself up. Because we are literally in a war of evil versus good. And if we don't start taking a stand as a collective, globally, and crying out, and keep speaking out, and when people come up online and they start making propaganda, lies, flinging BS at people, disregard them. If they get caught lying to you or they change their narrative, it's like a certain person, without saying the name, that mimicked the work I've been doing for years, that came up a couple, 3 years ago, and mimicked my work to a T, and then took all their videos down and came up and started speaking against the very thing they spoke out about. And then they revert back to speaking about it again in selective areas. These are dishonest people. These are deceivers. They're liars and deceivers. Once you recognize somebody as a deceiver or a liar, walk away from them. Don't listen to another thing they say. Don't believe in anything that falls out their mouth. Put them right where they belong. Not trustworthy, non-trustworthy, cannot be believed. Put them in the category they belong in. Dishonest, a liar, somebody who cannot be trusted or believed. And until they clean their own backyard, you don't trust them. And even if they clean their own backyard because they broke your trust, you have to be very leery about anything that comes out their mouth ever again. You really do. And this is where we need to come from. And you need to start looking at it a whole at the men going their own way. Because when I told you the majority of MGTOW is TFLers in denial, it was truth. Was never a lie. It's fact. They get mad because I see through their BS. That's all it is. So they'll attack me, they'll avoid me, and it's just like the fraudulent fakes. Like Mike the MGTOW monk. The guy's not sincere. He's lying to you regularly. And he knows he is. And he goes to bed at night knowing he lied to you. And until he cleans his own backyard and straightens his own shit up, he's going to be labeled for what he is. No. And Dave's right. Okay? And what you got to do with Turd Flinging Monkey's name is take the monkeys off of it and just use the M-O-N-K, monk. Now think about MGTOW monks. Now, when you take the EYS off of it and you read it backwards, what it says is man, a man, okay, flinging, okay, and it says turd. Well, that turd in definition would be BS, bullshit, propaganda, lie. What he's really saying, he's a man flinging lies and propaganda onto the manosphere. That's what that name really stands for. But see, it's wrote in reverse, so you have to read it backwards to get the true name, the true message to what he's doing. That's no accident. That's deliberate. So you need to understand that that's not an accident. That's deliberate. That's just like NWO. None of this is an accident. So this is why I'm pointing that out to you. So that you can start seeing through some of this bullshit yourself. Okay? You need to be able to see through the bullshit yourself. And if you look at MGTOW and look at the definition he's giving MGTOW, MGTOW's definition is in your face. It couldn't be any plainer clear. And if you was around when MGTOW was created, you would have found it was created by an MRA, a men's rights activist by the name of Barbarossa, who gave you the name saying men going their own way. Now here we are a few years later, and what do you see them doing? They're changing the definition. They're trying to tell you men going their own way stands for, see, he's not being honest. That's dishonesty. And he's talking intelligently. Why? Because it's like a snake oil salesman. He needs to give you a good speech to sell his lie onto you so that you will believe in his lie. Once you believe in his lie, then it becomes enrooted in you and you believe in it, which is brainwashing. That's what that is. It's best known as brainwashing, social engineering, programming. That's what he's doing. And so that's why it's crucial that you understand that, because that's exactly what the man is doing. Okay, so that's why it's crucial, and the only thing I can tell you men out here in the manosphere is you really need to back up and stop regurgitating what's already been said and showed over and over and over and over. And if you want to knowledge yourself more, go listen to Mark Passio. He speaks about MGTOW. He speaks about men and women and the war on us, the war we're in. And he'll tell you straight out it's social engineering, that it's no accident. It's everything I've been saying for years. And I was listening to him earlier, and Mark Passio came on scene back in 2007. And I started laughing because I came on scene around 2007, 2006 in that area. That's when I gave TFL. So, do you see the situation here is there's not many real people left. I mean real. Somebody that's not going to bullshit you, that's going to be honest with you, that's not going to lie to you and send you down the rabbit hole, that's not going to give you false hope so that you could be angry all later on when you found out you were given false hope and the information you was given don't work. That's what the pickup artist industry did, because it was problem, reaction, solution. They gave men false hope, and they collected your money in doing so. That's right. They took your money to lie to you, to give you false hope. It's like Paul Elam. He will gladly take your money to give you false solutions. He will never talk about the root cause. When is the last time you heard the men's right activist movement that's been hijacked by feminist women? What have they done for men? And when did they last tell you anything or show you any causes of the problem? They never have. And they never will. Okay? And that's for real. They never have and never will. If I look around me online in the manosphere, I think the most brutally honest, totally honest people would be myself and Steve Holka. And I'm not trying to place myself above anybody. But when I look around me, I see a liar after liar after liar, deceiver after deceiver after deceiver. And then I met Dave, who was in this chat. And I'm proud to meet the guy. That man's as honest as I am or Steve Hulk is. And I highly appreciate him for that. I really do. Because that's what we need. You got to stop lying to yourselves. You've got to start looking for the causes. And then you got to be honest. Because we can only stop what's going on through doing that very thing and then standing together and not fighting one another. Don't you understand that's what the people who have done this to us want us to do? They want us to fight. They don't want us to get along. They don't want us to come together and get along. That's the last thing they want. And that's exactly what we have to do. How many of you people want to continue to live TFL for the rest of your life? How many of you want to be bashed for the next 20 years? And put down and cut down and keep going through this and keep going through this? Or how many of you are willing to stand up? How many of you want the real truth and are willing to take a stand for the real truth? And start crying out. And don't care what other people think of you. Because the only way you're ever going to get anywhere is to do exactly what I'm telling you. And we have to do it on a collective whole. It can't just be one or two of us. I've never gave up, but then how could I give up? Evil is evil. And good is good. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. I don't care if 10,000 people are doing it. If it's wrong, it's still wrong. It doesn't matter how many people are doing it. Because wrong is wrong. And this is why it's so crucial to start recognizing right from wrong. So the information I'm pushing on you right now is, you need to do this. You need to do it for yourself. If you fancy living, Dave's been here for the whole time. And Dave will tell you straight up, it's only gotten worse. It's never changed in his life. He's had to accept it for what it is. He literally has. And it's sad that he has to accept it for what it is. But what else is he going to do? And you need to understand, this is your fate. This is your life too. Okay, it really is. This is the life you're living too. You don't like it no more than I liked it, no more than Dave likes it, no more than any of the others you like it. And if you want it to change and you want things to get better in society, you got to stop thinking about your own self. You've got to be more willing to realize it's affecting how many men worldwide. It's destroying how many families. And what are these children growing up seeing? Don't you realize that's what's going to do to them when they get older? What kind of future do these little boys have? They don't have none. You're stripping their future away from them while they're a child. We're literally destroying lives. That's what's going on. And you're destroying your society. And it's got to stop. And it ain't going to stop until we do the right things. And to do the right things means self-discipline. It really does. And it means growing tough skin on not caring what others think about you. And if you have an ego, lose that ego. Drop that ego, because that ego will corrupt you. And it really will. And then you'll wind up being no better than the people that you're complaining about. You've got to lose your ego. You can't let yourself hike yourself to a level that you're not. You're not better than somebody else. You're not smarter than somebody else. You got to lose that mentality, because that mentality is corruption. And so, and I'm not saying, like I told you, I'm not going to tell anybody or give advice to anybody that I'm not willing to do myself. I've cared my whole life for people all around me, and I didn't care if I didn't know them. I've helped perfect strangers. I give 2 hours working on a car for somebody that I didn't even know and fixed their car. Their only payment that I received was the smile on their face. I didn't want no money, because that's in my heart. That's who I am. And then I'm told by other people it means I'm weak. No, that don't make me weak. That makes me stronger than most of you people. That's because social engineering's done a number on you, and it's not your fault. I'm not blaming you for what you have no way of knowing. I'm trying to educate you to the truth. And you have to take the education to the truth to the next level of educating yourself to it. And you got to start with being honest to yourself. And when you can be honest to yourself, and then you can take it that one step further, and you can start recognizing right from wrong, you will be on the right path. And when you get on that right path, then and only then, you're going to understand what I'm saying, and you're going to realize how important it is for us men to start standing together. How important it is for us to recognize right from wrong. This is really, where it comes from. And I don't know what else to tell you other than this is what we have to do. If we don't do this, we're all going to suffer the consequences. Okay? Turd flinging monkey is no accident. He's a plant. He's been put online to do what he's doing. He's probably making a lot of money doing it. Or he's sitting in some damn military bunker, working with other guys, following their orders, regardless of what. The guy's not here for you and me. He's not here to help you. That's why I did the reply I did. That's why I did that. So when you saw that video pop up this morning with me replying to him, I did that because that needed to be done. It really did. That's the only way I was going to be able to, go on, because it had to be showed for what it is. Now, I don't know about going on the man's show. I tried to get him over here with me, but, like always, if I want to talk to him, I got to come on his show. Well, that's because he needs to control the narrative. Because when he can't make a mockery out of me and I call him out, he can disconnect me. That's the reason. Then he could edit it and take anything I said out, so that the only people who would have seen it would be the people that was live at the time. That's why he did that. See, unlike me, I wouldn't edit a thing. I'd let it go up just as it is, and nothing would be edited. He don't want that, because then he couldn't hide his deception. See, that's really where that comes from. So it's a matter of people thinking about it for what it really is. And I don't care what people think of me, and maybe it pisses people off because I don't care what you think of me. But I do perceive attacks as attacks when I'm attacked. And it's sad because I've been attacked by people that I perceive to be a friend. Jerry wasn't the first person to pull that shit. Okay? Sad thing about Jerry is he tried to paint me out as the villain and himself as the victim. It just shows the honesty he has because of his ego. He's not about to slam down his ego. He's not about to own up to real truth, because that would deflate his ego. Couldn't have that now, could we? We've got to keep our ego, which is corruption. And the sad thing is, as long as he runs on that ego, he's only going to become more corrupt. And I have trouble working with that, and I can't work with that, okay? I just can't work with somebody like that. And if I'm attacked, if you tell me I'm a woman hater and I have mental issues, and you're supposed to be my friend, I'm sorry, that's an attack. And if you ain't even man enough to apologize, and your excuse is you're not apologizing because you're an asshole, then that means you're not willing to apologize because of your ego. Because you perceive yourself to make no mistakes because of your ego. That you're mistake free because you have an ego. That's what ego does for you. It corrupts you. And so I won't run with people that have ego. And if they start getting an ego, they'll destroy the friendship they had with me. And every time it'll be them that does it. Throughout my life, even before the internet was here, I was around people with high ego, and every last time they destroyed the people around them. And they were the ones doing the attacking. And nowadays, everybody's got this mentality. They can attack you behind the scenes and then come up and paint themselves out as a victim, furtherly victimizing you. So they turn you into their victim, and then they come up and play the victim role, furtherly victimizing you for their own self-gratification. And that is evil. That is sick. That's the same thing the people we're speaking up against do. It's psychopathic. And I walk away from people like that. So it's not a loss. The loss is the fact that the guy's not willing to freaking even correct his own behaviors. He's not willing to stick a needle in that ego and deflate it. Okay, and of course he's not, because that ego's got control of him. And that's what corruption does. And these people like that until they can grow up and grow a pair, because that's what it's going to take for corrupt people. You either get the lesson the hard way or you become part of the problem. And if you don't want to be part of the problem, then you have to freaking, and this is the self-discipline part, is you have to be willing to look at your own way that you're treating other people. And you have to be willing not to treat people that way yourself. And you have to be willing to recognize that right from wrong. And care about somebody you don't even know. I mean, these are all fundamental things that have to be done on an individual basis if we're ever going to be able to get together to straighten out this world. And you know you don't like living in it no more than I like living in it. You don't like the corruption any more than I do. And you know dang well you don't. So, to have an ego and play into it, or think that you're going to get somewhere, and the phoniness online, what people do for subscribers or that little bit of internet fame. And it swells their head. It's disgusting. Because it's never been about fame to me. Even when TFL took off at the very beginning, within a year and a half from the time I brought it up, it took off and went all over the world. And I had 2 females come into a chat and tell me, Bill, how does it feel to be famous? You're literally all over the internet and all over the world. How does it feel to be famous? And I was like, I'm not. And they said, oh, yes, you are. And I just didn't acknowledge them anymore. Because it's never been about that. Never. Not for me. It's never been about that. It's always been about what's right for all of us. On a collective whole. That's what it's always been about. It's about what's right. And this is what people have to understand about me. This is probably why I have more enemies and more people don't frequent my channel outside of the suppression from YouTube, the censorship, because I'm real. And evil don't like real. So they keep me suppressed down. Every time I get up to 2,500, 2,000 subs, they'll take my channel out. No lie, that's what they do when I get around that area. They take my channel out. And they'll keep unsubbing subs from me so that they can keep me from rising. And they'll keep my numbers skewed to the public. The view count of my videos will be a lie. They'll change the numbers. Because they don't want you visiting my channel because they don't want the truth. That's what they do. That's what their job is. They're order followers. And part of their order following job is to make sure to stay on people that are telling the truth. And keep that truth hidden. That's what that's about. Yeah, and Dave, I see he's still here. I'll probably call him tomorrow and have a chat with him. Okay, and I wouldn't mind Dave if he's up to it. Maybe next weekend we can do another live stream together. And this time it'll be just him and I. I won't bring a Warren or anybody else in. That way Dave can speak up a little bit for himself. That's if he's up to it. And I'm going to do another search. And I'm going to start going through MGTOWers again. I was doing that yesterday when I got derailed by a turd flinging monkey. That derailed me. I had to stop right where I was at and I had to call him out for that. And I had to expose him for who he really is. Okay, so that's what I done. Because while I was looking through MGTOWer channels, I ran into that and it just set me off because I know what I see. And because I know what I see and I hear what he's doing, and I recognize that's being done by the elite, the powers to be, that's who's doing that. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Remember I told you MGTOW went mainstream? That was no accident. That was so they could do exactly what they're doing to MGTOW. Because men going their own way was a threat to the elite, to the powers to be. They couldn't have men really going their own way because in the long run it would overturn all their programming. All of the social engineering to divide and conquer the genders, to divide the genders up, men going their own way, if they really done it, would have destroyed all of their programming and would have woke people up to the cause, to the root cause. That's what that would have done. That's why they're doing what they're doing. And that's why you see turd flinging monkey given that new definition. That's why he did that. That was to destroy the real truth. Because the definition of men going their own way, MGTOW, is right in your face. It's in the spelling. And I love how he separated it from MRA. When it came from MRA. I love that. Total deception. And of course, the professionalism in the video, the professionalism in the speech. It's a selling tool. He's a snake oil salesman. He's selling you lies. So you need to see him for who he is. Because if you know who he is and see him for who he is, then you won't watch or listen to anything he's saying. Take that power away from him. Don't let that dumbass program you. Stop him in his tracks. That's what I hate to say about that. But with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. But I wanted to come up and do a little bit of a live stream tonight. Just to touch bases on these topics. Take my message to heart. And see if you can't make a change for yourself. Okay? Because it's really going to help you in the long run. And if you don't want to live this for the rest of your life, and you would like to see this type of shit go away, then you need to understand what I'm telling you. Because we can only change it ourselves. That's it. And we can't change it until you do them things. So with that being said, I'm out of here. And Dave, I'll give you a call tomorrow. With that being said, take it easy, guys.